You know, you've probably heard it said that most people's biggest fear is the fear of public speaking. Well, that's actually not mine, obviously. My biggest fear is the fear of falling while public speaking, because for some reason, I'm always wearing these crazy shoes on stage. My second biggest fear is fear of PowerPoints. I don't know what it is, but we are not friends. So if the screen and the words don't match up, just go with it. I had a completely different intro planned for this talk, but I have to tell you, life has kind of gotten in the way this last couple of weeks, and I have faced multiple obstacles to being here. The most recent of which this last week was that my husband herniated a disc in his back, and so we had to do a whole bunch of canceling and changing around of travel plans so he could stay home and I could be here. The second was I get here to lovely San Diego yesterday, and in my mind, because it's in my Marriott Bonvoy app, I tell the Uber driver where to take me. Wasn't the right place. It was the Marriott right next to Petco Field, and so after I walk in and the guy says, no reservation for you, ma'am, we look it up and figure out that indeed I'm at the wrong place. But no Ubers can pick me up because the game's going on and that area's shut down. So there I am, wheeling my luggage through the streets to the hotel he sends me to. Wrong one. Still ended up at the wrong one. By this time, I'm getting a little sweaty, so I keep wheeling, finally make it to my hotel, get a good dinner, a good night's rest, and we're on track. Until I made the fatal mistake of using the hotel shampoo and conditioner. We've all done it before. You bring your own stuff and you're like, oh, but that looks like it would be so nice. Don't ever trust the hotel shampoo and conditioner. Anyway, thank you for listening to my little story about my tragedies getting here. But the real reason I'm here today is to ask you a question. Why are you here? Why are you at this conference in this room? Is it because you wanted something more? You wanted something better? I think it might be. I'm going to tell you a story today about learning how to ride a motorcycle. And you're probably thinking, well, what does that have to do with direct primary care? It doesn't directly, but by the time I'm done here today, I think you're going to see the correlation. Because there were steps that I took in learning how to ride and become a better and more confident rider that you can take in almost any area of your life that you want to pursue as well. So before we get started, I'm going to ask you guys all to do me a favor. Again, PowerPoint. Oh, no. Okay, there we go. We'll go with that one. I'm going to ask you guys to all do me a favor, and I would like you to close your eyes. And I know no one likes doing that, so close them anyway. Now I want you to think about a time in your life when you had a goal and you worked really hard to accomplish that goal. There's a lot of physicians in this room, so I know you know about goals, and I know you know about hard work. I want you to think about something outside of that. I want you to think about, okay, maybe it was the first time you crossed the finish line when you ran a marathon or walked a marathon. Maybe it was getting to the top of a mountain on a hike you'd had your eye on for a long time. Or it could be something less physical. Maybe you put the final brushstroke on a painting you'd been working on for months. Now I want you to think about everything it took to get there. What made you want to start in the first place? Were there specific people or tools or resources that you needed? You can open your eyes now. Now you know what I'm talking about. You know the feeling that I'm talking about. Who here in this room would like more of that feeling in your life? I know I would. That's a great feeling. Can I go backwards? Oh, I did it. I'm mastering the PowerPoint after all. I'm sure you've heard the term ride or die before. It ties into my story, so we're going to use it. But what does it mean? It's nothing more than a clever way of saying that if you don't pursue your passion, your vision, or your dreams, there's a little part in here that dies. So we're going to walk through this and talk about what this looks like. Yes, there we go. And so it begins. Clearly, that is me. Well, maybe not so clearly because it was a long time ago. I'm on my very own Harley-Davidson Sportster. And I have to tell you, I loved that bike. I picked out every single detail myself. The custom paint, the seat, the cool wheels. If you look closely, you can see there's actually hearts in the wheels. Probably not very badass, but I loved them. But that isn't where the story started. The story actually started sitting on the couch in my living room with my husband watching a Discovery Channel documentary about Harley-Davidson's brand new motorcycle, the V-Rod. And I could feel every fiber in his body wanting that bike. I knew it before he ever said a word. I knew how badly he wanted that. But to tell you a little secret about myself is I have a little bit of a speed demon hidden inside here. I met my husband racing cars. I was racing, he was not. So it didn't take a lot to convince me. So before you know it, the bike comes. And we're really excited about it because at this point in our lives, we both were working crazy jobs and we had, long hours. We had a young son at home. So we didn't get a lot of time to spend together, just the two of us. So we thought this is going to be a fun thing to do together, right? So we hop on the bike and we go for a ride. And then we went for another ride. And that was it. It took exactly 2 rides for me to know the passenger seat was not where I wanted to be. So you might wonder, well, why not? Well, for me, it was about control. I didn't want somebody else to be in control of my experience, not even my husband. It wasn't fun for me. So back we went to the dealership, and we order a bike for me. It gets there, and I see it, and I'm a little bit nervous about it because I've been riding motorcycles my entire life. We've had dirt bikes since I was 5, 6, 7 years old, bigger ones. We've had quads, all the things. But I have never had a street bike. So not only was this bike a lot heavier, it was a lot more expensive. So my husband signs us up for the motorcycle safety class. We're going to learn how to ride them properly. And side note, it's also a requirement to get your motorcycle endorsement on your driver's license so you can actually legally ride on the road. So I have my bike. I'm signed up for the class. And I'm terrified. Why was I so scared? I was afraid of failing. Is there anyone here in this room that has ever stopped themselves from doing something they really wanted to do out of fear? How do you get past that fear? In my case, I had my husband to obviously sign me up for the class and give me a strong push right into that classroom. So I walk in there, and I look around, and there's, probably 20 or so other people in this class, and I notice the looks on probably at least half of their faces. They're resentful of being there because they think they already know everything they need to know. They're only there to get their endorsement. I may have had that same look on my face. But I have to tell you, I was in for a huge surprise. Learning the rules of the road, that was the easy part. It was the second weekend when things got interesting. We spent the entire time on motorcycles. They were the course's motorcycles, not our own bikes, learning how to maneuver them properly, how to be safe, how to park, how to do all the things. It was scorching hot out. We're in a huge asphalt parking lot, no shade in sight. I'm dressed in leathers, clearly a little bit sweaty at this point. And I think it would be a fair assessment to say I was the worst person in that class. But that's okay, because I had great instructors there. And I have to tell you, I was a little bit paralyzed because I was afraid of not only falling, I was afraid of failing. I didn't want to look stupid in front of the other people in that class. It's one of my biggest fears, which means it's also one of my biggest weaknesses. But fortunately, like I mentioned, we had amazing instructors. They were kind, patient, knowledgeable. And did I mention patient? Because with me, they had to be super patient. But I got through it. I passed the test, I got my motorcycle safety endorsement, and I was good to go. So the screen just changed and it gave me a timer and threw my brain waves all the way out. So where was I? Give me a moment. So finally, I passed my test. Didn't find my place in the talk, but that's okay. I'm just going to tell you the story as it comes to me. I passed the test, and I'm ready to get out on the road, but I have to tell you that the learning is far from over. I had to find people to come alongside me and teach me the tips and tricks that you're never going to find in a classroom. I learned that focus is crucial. You have to be 100% present when you're on a motorcycle if you want to be as safe as possible. And this actually turned out to be one of my favorite parts of riding a bike, because the focus that was required allowed me to let go of all the other clutter that tends to take up space in my brain. And if you've ever met me, there's a hamster wheel going up here 24/7. So that was a lot of fun. But one of the most important things I learned from riding a motorcycle was the ability to look through the corners. You had to figure out where you were going so you could chart your path around how to get around a tricky corner. You had to pay attention to where you were going, not where you had been. So there I am. I'm finally a strong, confident rider, putting in the work to enjoy everything that I had gained from it. And I have to tell you, I stumbled along the way. There were times I put my bike down. But you know what I had to do? I had to get back up, dust myself off, and get back on that bike. And there's going to be times with anything that you're pursuing, any passion, any vision that you are on the path towards, you're going to stumble and you're going to fall. You're going to need people around you that believe in you and support you. Look around this room. These are your people. You need to rely on them. I can tell you that both with learning how to ride a motorcycle, starting and running a business for nearly 28 years, there have been times, many times, I've had to invest in and believe in myself over and over again. And when I didn't, I needed my people to come alongside me and believe in me and bolster me up until I could get back on that path again. These are the important lessons that you can take with you into any aspect of your life. So I'm going to go back, hopefully. Is it over here? Oh, here we go. 5 practical steps if you're ready to pursue your passion. I heard just a few minutes before I came up here, again, I'm terrible at staying on topic. I heard that there's a number of medical students in this room today, which thrills me beyond words, because you guys are at a point in your life where you can choose the path that you want to go on. It doesn't have to be what you have seen in the past. The direct primary care movement is so important to our industry. I'm a broker, consultant, whatever you want to call me, but I believe in what you are doing, and I believe that it needs to be, the word needs to be spread, not only to individuals, but to employers as well, and to the entire industry. You guys are disruptors. You are looking for better ways to do things, and so hold on to that, because you can do it. Yes, you're going to go through some tough times, and you're going to run into people that think you've lost your mind. People say that to me all the time, so you just kind of have to brush that one under the rug. They're going to question your motives. When I started my agency, the desire, that burning desire inside me to start my agency was because somebody told me no. I had been a consultant and owner in a prior agency, partner I should say, and they came to me and said, we want to buy your shares of stock back. We don't want you to be a producer anymore, and you can run the girls in the office, because they didn't want the face of the agency to be a woman. I knew in that moment I was not going to be happy in that environment. If I said yes to them instead of to myself, a little part of me would die. That was my ride or die. So if you're ready to pursue your vision, your dreams, your passion, your ride or die, let's walk through the steps. Step number 1, find a coach or mentor. I can't stress this enough because I didn't do it early enough. I did obviously learning to ride a motorcycle, but in business, I was trying to white knuckle it for far too long. There are people out there that can help you with the tools and tricks and knowledge and connections that you need. It might seem like I can't afford it, I'm just getting started. You can't afford not to do it. Step number 2, find your community. Again, look around you. You need people to support you because not everyone's going to understand what you're doing. Again, on my side of the fence, on the consultant brokerage side, I have a wonderful community of people that believe what I believe in, and we help each other and we raise each other up. You guys need that as well. Find the right gear or tools. When I was riding a motorcycle, that meant I needed safety gear. I needed the proper helmet, I needed the proper leathers, which I'm not gonna lie, I felt good when I had them on, but the right tools will make you feel empowered. You might need different things in whatever passion you're pursuing, whether you're a runner, whether you're a doctor, whatever it is, think about what you need because that's going to help you get there. Control costs and expectations. It sounds like we should know how to do that, but most of us are overly optimistic. We want them to be the way we want them to be, and we don't take into account the road bumps that we're going to hit along the way. So you need to look at it, you may need to make good decisions, because the one thing I think we can all agree on that never changes is that change is inevitable. As I mentioned before, look through the corners. I explained to you what that meant when I was on a motorcycle, but what does it mean in life? It means there might be a big roadblock ahead of you, and you need to figure out how to get around it. It might mean that if you have a practice established and you're trying to figure out, oh, my patient base isn't quite what I wanted it to be, can you get through it before you lay somebody off or make a change that's going to negatively impact you? Look through the corners. And here's a bonus step that I want to share with you because this one is, again, I learned it from learning how to ride a motorcycle, and I still use it to this day. One of the things they taught us is that when you're at an intersection, you need to look at the tires of the vehicle across the intersection for you, not the vehicle itself, because the tires are going to show movement before the car does. And that split second can be the difference in allowing you to react and stay up on your bike or end up in a ditch or worse. So again, look for what's next. Look for the little indicators of change and be ready to respond to them. I really want to thank you for your time today. I want to thank you for your patience with me, and I'm just really excited to see you all here. So thank you, everyone.